If you'd like to support the channel, check out the links on our homepage. We now have a Patreon account where you can support the channel and you'll get extra content and battle reports. We have a Ko-fi account where you can make one-off donations. You can check out our Instagram for all the channel going-ons, and our Goblin Gaming affiliate link, where they sell Games Workshop, all kinds of hobby, and of course Adeptus Titanicus at reduced rates. Anything you buy using the link, the channel gets a little back in return. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and as you can see by the title, this is the Warbreaker rules reveal. That is hard for me to say. So myself and Alex from Max Fire were asked by BattleBling if we could come up with something for a terminal. So look, by no means is there an official rule set. This is a homebrew rule set. And this basically means that if you have one of these, you can go to the BattleBling website, I think that's where it's going to be on, and you'll be able to print off a terminal and you can just play a game. You haven't got to think about it. That doesn't stop you from changing things, coming up with your own rules, doing whatever you want with it. It's just a model. But this is what we've come up with. So what I'm not going to do in this video is go deep into the thought process and the reasons why we've done what we've done, and the reason for that is Alex on Max Fire, he's going to be doing his podcast and he's going to be talking about that, so I'm going to leave that to Alex. So today I'm just going to show you the rules, and all that other stuff can come later on. This is a place where you can drop in the comments any questions, gripe, just rip us to bits, whatever you like. So this is just for you to see what we've come up with. I'll probably say we are maybe on the safer side. You could have gone real nuts with this. It has been played with. We have played a few games. Obviously not as much as maybe I'd like, but hey, it might evolve. We'll see. So let's get into it. So as you can see, this is version 9. There were obviously 8 versions before this, and it has evolved. So yeah, basics are, it's a Warbreaker Titan scale 15 Imperator, and it's 1,245 points plus weapons. It has a command of 2+, ballistic skill 3, weapon skill 5+, and its speed is 3 inches, and if you push you can go 5. Maneuvers 1, push, maneuvers 2, and serve to clades 7. Okay, this is some real nitty gritty stuff. This is the special rules, and yeah, it needed some. So yeah, Grandmaster, such is the might of the Warbreaker, will often walk with the Grandmaster of the Legio as its princeps. So the Warbreaker may take its own Legio trait and will add +2 to order command checks, much like a princeps will. In addition to that, due to its presence, all friendly units will gain +1 to command rolls if they're within 8 inches. Ardex defense guns. I mean, if you watch my channel, you'll know I'll never use these, but if we do, we bump them up to 2d3. Again, I'm not gonna. I could talk about all this stuff in great detail, but I'm not going to. I was nearly tempted then. So yeah, it's 6 inches front and rear as normal. 2d3 strength 5. I will just make a little note here on the base. The base is still an ongoing thing. The one thing that I think is going to be advised for these rules is 200mm wide. Now whether that's round or oval, the rules will still work with these rules. There are differences with a round and oval base, but if that's what you've got, it doesn't matter, it will work. So yeah, 200mm wide is kind of the key for these rules. Whatever you decide to put your Warbreaker on, that's absolutely fine. It's a super auxiliary titan. Basically, a Legio battle group can include a maximum of 1 Warbreaker as reinforcements. The battle group must have a full mana pool of 5 titans to do so. Now, this is obviously like a match play thing. You can do whatever you like, honestly. We just thought if you want a bit of structure, it kind of felt cool. In addition to this, other auxiliary titans, like a Warmaster, Iconoclast, or Direwolf, you can have one. So it's an extra auxiliary. You're probably playing obviously fairly big games. Inexorable. So it's so big, it never suffers movement penalties as a result of difficult terrain or quake, cannot be concussed, and Ursa's Claws, those little warhounds, they're probably just not strong enough to pull it over. So it ignores all of those. And a little extra here, and is the mortar special rule. So this is a weapon trait. Weapons with this rule can fire at targets within the Titan's scale with the Carapace rule. And as you noticed, scale 15. So you get within 15 inches, you'll notice that a lot of the weapons won't be effective, but they will if they've got this rule. Okay, so we've got your plasma reactors, your void shield tracks, and then you've got all your damage. So the plasma reactor is 9 pips. I do believe that's 1 more than the Warmaster, and I think the void shields are the same. 7 voids, I think that's 1 more as well. The damage tracks are based off the Warmaster. The track is 2 pips longer for the scale. And then the actual critical damage is 5 points, and you'll notice that the first point is no effect, you're just making holes, but the fact that you've got critical damage means that other effects can happen. So for example, the Mortis trait, where you're getting bonuses to damage if your target has critical damage, despite the fact that it's not affecting the Titan, you have critical damage, and those things will come into play. So we've just basically extended the tracks for what we think is right. This thing has died in games. Titans do die. You get voids down. You know, metal becomes very pliable, especially when it gets hit by suzerains. Okay, so let's look at the weapons, and it's got a few. And this is probably like the most difficult bit, really. All I'm going to say is that we had sort of notes from the design team and from BattleBling themselves. We had weapon names given to us, so I was working it around that. There are 6 locations. 3 are special, 3 are weapon locations, so your location dice work on both. But there are 8 weapons. The port and starboard turrets, they have a weapon on the front and the rear, and we have a mechanic for all that. So we'll start with those. So we have port and starboard, so there'll be a location each side. Separate locations with cards, front and rear armament. So what I'm doing with these, what you'll notice on the model is there is a cannon and there is a missile pod. And the missile pod is on the back. And you can glue these, that's fine. And it will be able to fire those from the rear. I'm going to magnetise mine. I am still awaiting magnets in the post. So the idea is if you want to do this, you can swap these front and rear. So you can either have the missiles at the front, and they're separate locations. So you can have a missile in one, cannon in the other. So because they were modelled, this is why we've got the rules. So yeah, we've got an eruption lance. This is a long range kind of fusion weapon. 1 attack, strength 10. It's got a corridor arc, a 3-inch blast. It's got fusion for draining and Carapace. So it's a big melty weapon on those cannons. And then we've got the APOC missile arrays. They're basically like the Warmasters, except they've got 1 more attack. They are dice for. I can say if you can be bothered, you can magnetise. I'm just going to drill them in, and you can swap them around. So you're either going for super heavy firepower or shield strippers. Okay, also in the Carapace, So the previous weapons, they would be a special. If you rolled special on those, you would hit the turret, and then you'd have to roll to see which weapon you would hit. Now bear in mind, if you're attacking from the front, you're only going to see the front ones. If you're attacking from the rear, you're only going to see the rear ones. So next up, we've got the Carapace. These are the big ones in the centre. They're a paired weapon system. Those two big cannons in the centre turret, Fisher bombards, and they're like your giant sort of artillery, Quake style. So they follow a similar sort of trait. -1 at short range, 24, long range 36. Now they have 2 attacks, strength 10, arc is corridor, but they have 5-inch blast. So there's 2 of those. Concussive, Quake, barrage these. They are Carapace, and these have the mortar special rule. So imagine units getting closer, you can literally just angle these up and just lob these into the sky and rain down explosive death within your arc with these weapons. Okay, last weapons on the Carapace, on the Cathedral section. You've got these 2 turbo laser batteries on the front. We've paired them up, so this way we've got 3 weapons that are under special and 3 weapons that are under weapon location when you roll that dice. These are much the same, if not identical, to the Warlord paired. So it's going to give you 4 strength 8 lasers with shield bane. So from range, this thing is obviously very, very, very dangerous. If you get within that 15 inches, you've still got the threat of the arms. We haven't even got to those yet, and getting lobbed on by those Fisher bombards. So on the front here, the 3rd special location is a turbo laser battery. Okay, so the first arm weapon we're going to talk about here is the Warbreaker Leviathan Laser Annihilator. Okay, so this is 110 points. All the Carapace weapons have been factored into the whole. These have been pointed because there is potential for new arms in the future, so we're leaving that wide open. So the Laser Annihilator, 18-inch short, 36 long. It is a laser weapon, so kind of going down that road. 5 attacks, it's got 5 barrels on it. 5 attacks, strength 10, forward arc. And this, you can shield bane it for draining, and it's got rending as well. So at strength 10, it's giving you 5 shield baning attacks. You add that to the turbo lasers on top, that's another 4 shield baning attacks. So you can really drop shields with this thing. Once shields are down, it's strength 10, and it's got that rending, so you can actually crit. You roll that 6, you can start critting bigger engines by getting that extra D3. And here we go, the big show. So this is the final arm weapon. This is the Warbreaker Plasma Eclipse Battery, 120 points, and it's a much bigger version of like the suzerain, if you like. But what was interesting about this, we played around with 2 fire modes. So at short range, you're getting +1 at 12 inches, long range 30, so it's incredibly accurate and deadly. So dice is 2 or 4. This thing is strength 12 basic. It's forward arc, so try getting out of that. And you can drain it for fusion, so it's giving you those D10s. You can maximal fire this for strength 14. Obviously 1s will push your reactor. And then you can drain it again. So you'll find 4 shots with this, much like a Warlord plasma, or you can drain it for 2 5-inch blasts. So if you want to overlap things, if you want to hit big units and knights, you're literally going to wipe them out in 1 shot. And it's 2 of them, so if it scatters. So that was actually quite good fun. This is your real big hitter. In games, it's been pretty juicy. But like I say, this engine has died, so it's not, don't worry too much. It can be killed. But this is the big hitter. This is the, if you like, the big right hook, unless you put it on the left arm. So that's all the weapons, but it does have an ancillary reactor. Of course it does, it's massive. So we've decided that all the War Master cards would be fine. If you got those cards, use them. And again, because there is potential for different arms in the future, we figured all of them would be relevant. So maybe not now, but in the future. So why not use them all? And we made one up, and we figured there wasn't enough war horns in this game. So we've created a war horn, Ancillary Reactor. So you bellow that out, activating the strategy phase. The sight and sound of the Warbreaker fills even the most experienced Princeps with fear. For the remains of the round, enemy units suffer -2 to all command checks if they're within 15 inches of the Warbreaker. And that's when the horn goes off, so they're shaken up. Flip the card over after you. So again, I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but you can probably start thinking about when that would be useful and why that would be useful. So that's your Ancillary Reactor, and an extra one there from us. Last but not least, something a bit different. What I will say is John from Battle Bling was really excited that the legs had the doors in it, and it looks like, you know, they can carry troops, etc. So for that, we come up with a stratagem. Rather than making it a rule that is always in play, we made it an optional stratagem. So you don't have to use this, and if you do, it can give you a nice little modelling project as well. Go to Vanguard or 3D print something. You can create these. So it's a stratagem, it's a battlefield asset special. It's 2 stratagem points, Titan Guard Infantry. So there are some infantry type cards for AT, Titan Hunter Infantry, etc. So we wanted to make something a bit different. They're not deployed during the deployment phase, instead they start inside the Warbreaker. Activate in the combat phase during the Warbreaker's activation, and deploy 6 infantry guardian stands, 25mm recommended, within 3 inches of the Warbreaker, and may attack immediately. These are a single unit and have a 2-inch coherency. These can be moved over by Titans, but not by Knights. Aha. In subsequent rounds, they act independently as a separate unit. And then we've given them a profile. So they take damage, I mean, they pretty much work like Knights do, like a Knight Banner. Scale 0, Speed 4, Command 7, BS and WS 4. They have no saving throws. They have a heavy weapons team. They do have +1 short range, which is 5, long range is 10, 360 arc. And they have 1 attack per stand, that's strength 4. Their weapon skill and ballistic skill is better than Titan Hunters. The reason for that is these guys, they get wiped out pretty quickly by, you know, Vulcan bolters or whatever will just rip them to bits. So because they're like a nuisance, it's not like Titan Hunters where they keep coming back every turn. Once these are deployed, they do get wiped out pretty quick, but they can protect your Warbreaker for a turn. So yeah, and then you can see that the direct is 7 to 9, etc. You can work out how easy they are to kill, because they only have 1 structure point each. So this was something that was just a bit of fun, be quite cool. Make your own little stands of infantry and just get them on the table. And because it's optional, you haven't got to worry about it. So that's it. That's the rules we've come up with. Like I say, I could talk about this for hours, about all the thought processes that go behind it, but I'm not going to do that here. When Alex and Maximal Fire get the podcast done, get over to there, you can listen to all the thought process that went behind it, and that's what we've done. So yeah, feel free to rip it to bits in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.